the Incel phenomenon, and its dangers for women. In recent years, the term incel has been appearing more frequently in online discussions, especially when the topic involves hate-based violence. But what exactly does incel mean? How does this mindset affect everyday life? Check out the following overview to find out. What is an incel? Incel, short for involuntary celibate, refers to people who struggle to form romantic or sexual relationships despite wanting them. They believe their inability to connect romantically or sexually isn't due to personal shortcomings, but rather rejection from the opposite sex and broader social systems. Typically, the term incel is associated with heterosexual men who feel rejected by women. This sense of rejection often evolves into resentment, which in some cases escalates into violence. The Anti-Defamation League notes that incel identity is often embraced by single men who feel uncomfortable with their status. Many of them believe that women today are, quote, too free and selective, choosing partners based on physical appearance, financial stability, or social status. Interestingly, the term incel was originally coined in 1997 by a Canadian woman named Alana. She created a website called Alana's Involuntary Celibacy Project as a safe space for people of all ages, genders, and sexual orientations who felt lonely, ashamed, or isolated because they had never been in a romantic or sexual relationship. At first, the site was meant for discussion and mutual support. Over time, Alana stepped away from the project, and the term incel spread across the internet, especially in anonymous forums. Unfortunately, it was later adopted and distorted by communities, primarily heterosexual men, who used it as a banner for anger, misogyny, and hostility toward women in society. Alana herself has expressed regret that a term she created out of empathy was transformed into a label associated with rage and misogyny. Traits or characteristics of incels. The defining characteristic of the incel community is men's hostility toward women, rooted in the belief that their freedom to pursue romantic relationships has been taken away. NYU Libraries categorizes involuntary celibates as part of the manosphere because they share similar traits. The manosphere is an online network of men with misogynistic views, including groups such as men's rights activists, MRA, pickup artists, PUA, and men going their own way, MGTOW. These communities often reduce women to mere objects and blame them for men's frustration and loneliness. Although the incel movement began online, gender-based violence linked to incel ideology has been reported multiple times. One notable case occurred in Toronto in 2018 when a man drove a van into a crowd, killing 10 people. He later admitted to being part of the involuntary celibate community. How do incel communities form? It's fair to say that incel communities don't emerge from a single cause, but rather from a mix of factors, personal experiences, social conditions, and the influence of the internet. Many members initially feel lonely, unsuccessful, and insecure in their attempts to build romantic relationships. According to NYU Libraries, men who adopt incel thinking often lack social skills and hold a fixed mindset, the belief that basic abilities cannot be changed. Men with childhood trauma, including sexual abuse, physical violence, or bullying, are also considered more vulnerable to falling into extremist ideologies like incel. When they feel unheard in the real world, they turn to online communities for support. Unfortunately, instead of finding healthy solutions, they encounter others with similar frustrations, which only intensifies their anger toward women. Social media algorithms further amplify this hostility, pushing them deeper into echo chambers. As a result, incel communities often end up blaming women and more successful men, rather than society at large. The harmful impact of incel communities. Incel ideology can actually worsen feelings of low self-esteem, depression, and social withdrawal from healthy environments. Negative thinking and poor mental health make it even harder for them to build healthy communication with women. This mindset also reinforces a culture of misogyny, causing many women to become increasingly reluctant to engage with men. In extreme cases, involuntary celibate beliefs can lead to violence against women and even against society at large, which they perceive as supporting women's freedom. Within marriage, incel thinking can raise the risk of domestic violence. That's why this ideology should never be ignored. If you find yourself harboring excessive hatred towards certain groups, consider seeking help from a professional, such as a psychologist. A psychologist can help you understand the roots of these thoughts and guide you toward healthier ways of thinking. Conclusion. Incel refers to individuals who struggle to build romantic or sexual relationships despite wanting them. They believe their inability to form these relationships stems not from themselves, but from women being too selective, and from social systems that allow women greater freedom of choice. The defining trait of incels is excessive hostility toward women, which is why involuntary celibates are considered part of the manosphere. This hostility can escalate into violence against women and against social structures that support women's freedom of choice. Men who embrace incel ideology often lack social skills and hold a fixed mindset, the belief that basic abilities cannot be changed.